Alright, so let's take a look at my fantasy team. So Lyle, I knew he was going to do well. I mean, just against the Woods, like, you know that the attackman's going to do well. He had 6 points. In the game, he had 30 points in fantasy. My face-off, Joe Nardello, was an absolute slam dunk, 26 points. 11 ground balls, 1 goal, went 20 for 26. And then Burnlore had 15 fantasy points, did really well. And then the Tom Schreiber was what really got me. He had 3 turnovers and only 2 assists on the game. Con Squires had 2 ground balls, so it's not really going to do it. But Woods-wise, I definitely felt like I knew what I was going to get out of this. Obviously, Lyle on the one side. Other than that, no one really popped out to me. Maybe could have gone Rafis if you wanted to, but Cockerton had the 3 goals, but he had like 10 shots, maybe even more than that, 2 goals. So they obviously want to get him started in the offense, especially so Lyle doesn't have to do everything. But that was pretty crazy. On the other side, I forget what Pennell had. I think he had 5 points. Take a quick look. I'm sorry, I think he had 4 points, but I could be wrong. Had 5 points, 2 goals, 3 assists, so he had a really good day as well. 3 ground balls. T.D. Erlin continued to succeed. Bertrand with 9 goals in his last 4, had 4 in this game. I had a feeling about the Jones back-to-back 4-point games. 4 in another one. Had 0 goals, 0 assists off of 10 shots, 1 ground ball. And then Apple on that downtrend. 2 call turnovers, 2 ground balls. Didn't really even go with goaltending in this game, but you actually really could have gone with Jack Kelly if you were crazy enough to do it. 2 call turnovers, 2 ground balls, and still had a above 50% save percentage. So good day by him. Apple coming off of that downtrend. Garnsey continues, 2 goals, not too bad. Next in that Chaos Chrome. Nothing out of that chaos which is too crazy. I think it was O'Keefe and Daner with 3 points each, so not the greatest. Other than that, nothing like you can really be happy about. Defensively wise, Rowlett, Newman, Reese all doing really well. And then goaltending wise, Blaze below 50% and didn't have any calls, turnovers, or ground balls, so that's tough to see if you went with him. On the other side was Nuskus, Molloy. Midfield-wise, McIntosh and Anderson came through big. I wasn't really sure how I felt about this game. Defensively, JT Giles-Harris. I should have played Jesse Bernhardt over Squires. It is what it is. Face-off-wise, could have gone Connor Farrell. I'm happy with the pick that I went with. And then Sean Scone. I don't think that he did anything calls, turnovers, or ground balls-wise, but he did pretty well save percentage-wise. Just take a quick look at Nick Churn, 3 points. I wouldn't consider that on fire, but still continues to produce since the All-Star break. Manley, I would say, had a tough game today because he's been on fire, but had really cooled down in this one. But they ended up with the win, and that's all that matters to them. For us, it's tough to see, but I feel like if you're really spending like a higher pick on that defense, that's a tough go. Water Dogs Atlas, McArdle has been one of the best in the game, puts up 5 points. Really big for the midfield standpoint. I think if I don't have someone that's a solidified, like, hey, this is the guy to go to for defense, I'm just going to go with a guy on the Water Dogs. And if I don't have someone that I'm like, hey, this is really the guy to go here for midfielder, I'm just going to go with Kieran McArdle. Like, I'm going to have to find a way to get him in. Whether he's a low 2 or high 1, he's got to be a high 1. Anywhere, really, he's got to start hitting my lineup. Connor Kelly, again, with a really good game. So Kelly, Conrad, Sowers did really well down low. No Ryan Brown, which was interesting to see. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I think Conrad's a midfielder. It was Walker who's the other attackman. Hannah, Curry with a really good game. 4 ground balls, 2 points, and a caused turnover. So again, if you're really looking to just kind of plug and play anybody, it's a guy on the Water Dogs. Liam Burns 2-2. Dylan Ward had a really fucking good game, about 50% with a caused turnover. And Zach Tucci, not the greatest from the face-off standpoint. On the other side of the ball, nothing too crazy. I mean, Chris Gray, with a not bad performance. This was tough, man. This team lost in overtime to, I believe it was a Connor Kelly goal. I think that's his second of the season. And then, but I mean, Law, Bucaro, Teat, all with 3 points. Baptiste with 2. I'm sure he did fucking fantastic on the day, no? Only 6 ground balls, though. And Jack Concannon, under 50%. Only 2 ground balls. Nothing to be too happy about. Craig Chick, 1 call starter, 7 ground balls. I don't mind it. He's been on fire. I would say, yeah, that's been pretty on fire. He was 1-4 last year against this team. He's 1-7 this year against this team. Kate Van Raphorst, cooled down, has been on fire. Definitely cooled down. Law continues that 3-point per game streak. Pretty good, man. Pretty good. And then T-Bap did not struggle versus the Water Dogs. I'm surprised they went with Tucci because it's been Dylan, not Dylan Ward, Withers, who's been the guy who's been beating T-Bap. So that's just interesting to see. And then the last game of the weekend, the Archers and Whipsnakes, was the game I was waiting on for a while. This was a tough one just because of the fact that there was a lightning delay right in the middle of the first half, right between the first and second quarter. It lasted for a pretty long time, but we were able to get the game done. Holman, really boom or bust, ended up being a pretty good boom. He had a 2-pointer and 1 assist, so 4 points on the day, with also a single Gino. I believe Ament Manny, both 3 points, nothing too crazy, but not too bad. And then Schreiber's the one that kind of killed me. 3 turnovers, 1 ground ball, 2 points, both assists. Only had 1 shot on the day. That's tough. Defensively, no one really stood out all too much. Ratliff definitely was your consistent pick. The 1 call turnover, 3 ground balls. He's been averaging 1 and 2 or 3 ground balls. And then Hasek has been on fire recently. I would say that was on fire. But I would say it was consistent with what we were probably expecting out of him. And then, surprisingly, they played Brett Dobson. I didn't really see that coming. The rookie out of Bonaventure. So, that was weird to see, but it kind of bit them in the ass because I don't think that he went above 50%. No, he went 52%. I guess that's about what you would have probably expected out of Gittleman. Chaney had 5 points in the 2 games last year versus them, had 3 points in this game, so had a ground ball and a turnover, so it is what it is. That's pretty consistent with him. Rambo has been on a bit of a burner, continues that burner with a 4-point game. Brad Smith, boom or bust, was a boom in this game. Zed Williams, I said, needs a bit of a breakout game, puts up 4 points, but has 6 turnovers, so probably not the greatest game out of him, though, at the end of the day. Earnhardt, not great versus the Archers, but has been hot. And Earnhardt continues to tear it up with 3 call turnovers, 3 ground balls, and a point. Bernlohr has been hot, but bad versus the Archers, and he continues to do well, 55% save percentage. Nothing on... Oh, no, I'm sorry. And he had 3 ground balls. I went with him, not regretting it at all. Squire is pretty consistent. Not for me this time, though. Only the 2 ground balls. No calls turnover, which was tough, but it is what it is. Khan with back-to-back 3-point games. Take a look at how he did. Only 1 point in this game. Nardella, the obvious hit. So let's take a look at some of the people that I liked. Manny, Zeddy, Pinnell, Byrne, Cloutier, McArdle, Teat. McArdle, Pinnell, both definitely the ones that hit. Lyle, too, obviously, I went with him. Byrne, Manny, Cloutier, Teat, all about 2 or 3 points. Not the worst. Midfield, Jones, didn't go with him, 0 points. Daner, with 3 points. Kelly with a pretty decent day. Fields, I kind of brushed past him. I think he had 2 on the day. 2 on the day. Not horrible. And then Schreiber as well. Definitely leaving out McArdle. Or is he attack? I don't even fucking remember anymore. Defensively wise, Hasek, K. Van Raphorst, Ratliff, Manley did well. Earnhardt is probably the one that I'm missing in here. Hasek, not a bad day. CVR definitely missed on this one. Ratliff with that consistency. Ward and Burn did pretty well. Blaze not the greatest. Nars and TD probably could have thrown in the Milkman as well. And then my hypothetical bets, let's just see right here. So I went with the Cannons money line against the Redwoods. That did not hit. Wasn't really too sure if I liked that. I like the Chrome minus 1.5, and that hit. And I like the under 23.5, and that hit. And then for the Water Dogs Atlas, I like the Water Dogs plus 1.5, and it hit. So, solid 3 for 4 on this week. Overall, really can't be too mad. Put up almost 80 points. I came, I think, 300th. Well, there were a lot of people over 100 points this week. So that'll be fucking nuts. Just a quick look into next week. We have the Whipsnakes Atlas. That'll be a crazy game. Definitely going to ride with some Whipsnakes there. Water Dogs Redwoods. Definitely put in McArdle right now. Maybe even Kelly. Chaos Archers. Damn, TB versus Nardella. This might be a good spot to put in TD. And then Archers Chaos. Those are two just fucked up face-off guys. But that'll be a tough one. That's a tough one to think about, you know? I don't think the Chaos are as bad as 2-6, and the Archers are kind of struggling at that 4-4. And then Cannons Chrome. Actually, that'll be probably where I put in my one. Let's see if they have anybody up yet for the fantasy. I doubt it, but let's just take a look. Today's Tuesday. Or today's Monday. I don't know. I've been working a lot, so that's what I got. Excited for next week. Let's keep it rolling. I went 3 for 4 also on the pick'em. The only one I lost was my Redwoods, so tough go, but keep it rolling. This was a good week, man. This was a good week. We're gonna keep it rolling.